everybody again, and welcome to another episode of Stock Talk. I am your host, Mike, and today we got a decent show. We got three of the top trending stocks here on the trends on the stock twits. One of the first stocks we're going to talk about today. Before we get to that, please like and sub. Appreciate the support and appreciate you going through and taking a look at some of the videos and look back at some of the other stocks to see if you can find out if some of the entry points are right for you that we've covered in the past. One of the first stocks we're going to talk about today is Lucira Health Incorporated. Last tick was 0.51. LHDX. LHDX. Put that in your charts and look at it. Going into the year to date here on the Google machine, things haven't been necessarily too good for Lucira for the past year. Dropped out, shorties got out and shorted in market correction, things like that. And it went to about negative 433, negative 89%, 0.46. But that's just a lot of your stocks there, and that's a trend. But we're seeing just things starting to trend up here now. So we're going to go into there and find out. Let's go to the website, check it out, and see what we have. Going on to what would you say they do here? Lucira Check is a molecular nucleic acid amplification test, NAAT. It provides accurate at-home results for the detection of the COVID-19 virus. In case you didn't know, their tests have been analytical sensitivity to add to detect SARS-CoV-2 virus. That is comparable to some of the best performing PCR tests in clinical settings at high complex labs. Some of the downward trend, I would think, would be market correction, guys, from before, and the fact that you have shorties get out, things like that. And the thing about this is that this disease is not going away. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. And no, the alphabet media did not pay me to say that. I'm just telling you, state the obvious facts there. To ensure the validity of the accuracy, Lucira's COVID-19 test kits, several studies were conducted to compare the test against one of the most sensitive PCR tests authorized by the FDA. Compared powered by amplification, if the SARS-CoV-2 is present in the sample, Lucira's innovative platform is designed to find it and amplify the virus's genetic material, while the test is running just like PCR lab tests. Except a little bit more accuracy. In clinical studies described below, Lucira's amplification method provides a level of accuracy compared to one of the highest sensitive levels of the PCR test. In two community testing studies, which they concluded in individuals without COVID-19 systems, the Lucira COVID-19 test was compared to the Hologic Panther Fusion, which is one of the highest sensitivity FDA authorized SARS-CoV-2 PCR tests. The results of Lucira's COVID-19 testing studies achieved a 98% accuracy, 97% positivity rate, that is simply huge, PPA, and 98% agreement, excluding samples with very low levels of virus, no longer reflected active infection. And if you can turn back the clock a little bit, you can remember that a lot of your tests were inaccurate and things like that going back. And this is so these, and as well as some of other companies, are trying to get it to the science to where they can get it to a more accurate level. So get this out quicker for people, so they're not as far as a more accurate level. This way, you're not thinking. Because if you can recall, some people say, well, I had it, things like that. No, you didn't, things like, there was so much confusion. That's because the tests at the beginning were a little more not as accurate. To explain a little bit more about them, to validate the Lucira COVID-19 test kit, the study participants were swabbed themselves twice. Once for the Lucira test, and again for the well-known high-sensitivity PCR test. Then compared to Lucira test results, the PCR test results. Positive percent PPA, or sensitivity, represents how often the Lucira test agreed to the comparator for PCR positive test results. Negative percent NPA are specifically representing how often Lucira test agreed to the comparator PCR negative test results. See this graph and chart. The graph shows that Lucira's Check is COVID-19 test kit percent agreement to Lucira's two community testing studies. The blue bars represent the samples when Lucira positive test results match the comparison test. The gray bars represent Lucira's test results that were negative and did not match the comparison test positive result. Nearly all of the gray bars occurred in samples where there were very low levels of virus detected by the comparison tests. Huge news here is the order at-home COVID-19 testing kits. Start testing and stop worrying. Lucira's COVID-19 test is both for the comfort of your own home with the results that are needed with one swab away. Lucira's COVID-19 tests are available for consumer purchase as well as enterprise in just 30 minutes. That gives the test that gives you the need to make a more informed decision. As you can see, the timeline of events from the NIH grant awarded to the founders in 2012. Then you have the NIH NSF grants to the STI test development 2014 combined with the 2015 joined Y Combinator. The FDA UEA for the first at-home COVID-19's 9-month start to finish in 2020. They also have the anticipated EUA for filing for the flu test in 2022. And you have the continued, we're going to break into the news there to see other stuff. The indicator here before, guys, is this was for the, in 2018, they were geared towards the flu test. And then they pivot away from that and they went to the COVID test to develop as soon as the pandemic was declared a pandemic by the WHO. So there's your timeline of events. And then with the 2021 breakthrough, obviously you saw the jump and everything went bonkers. I still think it's too early to write this off, guys. I don't think some people who dumped this could have as always have always they try to go away. They try to dump these things and then they go away. And then they always come back to haunt the shorties all the time. So that's just something it is below the penny line, or sorry, below the dollar line, but all things not certain, but all things do sometimes come back. Let's go to the Alphabet News and check out why we saw this popping in movement. You had the Chapter 11 news, and that Lucira soars on FDA approval, so it comes soaring back with COVID-19 and flu test. That had some people going bonkers with this today. This is one of the most top trending stocks on the twits, and one of the most talked about is as well. Shares of the healthcare test kit provider Lucira Health are rallying today for U.S. Drug and Food and Drug for authorized emergency use of the company's Lucira COVID-19 flu and COVID-19 test. The molecular test is now at home, the first combination of the two indicators, as well as the first flu test for over-the-counter use home results in 30 minutes with one nasal swab. So going on to StockTwits, because that's where the real traders are at. This is where the real traders hang out and where messages are shared, so you can get the real information from both sides of the aisle, meaning the bulls and the bears, to see where they're coming in and if they're coming in hot on this or if they think it's just a bunch of hoopla. So this way you see before you buy anything. One of the things I would first tell you that if you are planning on jumping on this or thinking about it and you are new to trading, please do paper trading and open up a paper trading account. This way you are not going and jumping into something that you shouldn't jump into, because you should not trade anything that is below $1 if you are definitely new to doing this. So one of the first takes I find interesting here is blame the bartender. He says obtaining FDA approval is 99% of all the pharmas fail. We have approval and either rocket to of a BK of our own and get scooped up by big pharma to take us home. The test developed is free via the government and free with insurance. Either way, huge sales are in the future. After day traders crashed, all in the fact in a few days, a few amazing things here for the big haul. So that's blame the bartender. It has an interesting take here. 20 million market cap, laugh out loud bankruptcy. He says the brainy estimates of US $2 billion of 2022 influenza diagnostics market to reach $3.4 billion by 2030. Not that far of a reach. And considering that with this, what's been happening is that you've heard people predict in the future that this thing could mutate into something else that could be worse. So this thing's not going away anytime soon as far as any type of new variants, things like that. Things are always going to be constantly changing with this. So we can't just write this off. You can't just take a seat and write it off. Some of these things people think they're dead and then they come back. So some people could be bearing along here being like, hey, I don't think this is going to go where it's going to go, but you just don't know because of the demand that's there and what they have and things like that. So I'm not just going to write this thing off as far as that. And no, I don't own stock in the company. I just calling it as I see it. Oh, it has another has another bullish take and a great take there. He's tweeting. Justin's engineer says NFA, their home test equals no prescription needed, 18 months shelf life, detects COVID and all variants and is covered by insurance, 44 cents, more like 344. He says bullish. Also says this says it all, yet no home flu tests are available for purchase in the U.S. It would be helpful for Americans and for a way to distinguish the different ailments at home when it comes to the flu, in particular at-home COVID testing could help telehealth doctors to make sure prescribed treatments like Tamiflu, which could be started the next 2 days on onset symptoms. It has an interesting take on this. He says they will dump this until earnings in 2 weeks, and then people will feel the burn. That's not that far of a reach there. That's the other thing here. You're seeing this come in hot, and you could see people could feel the burn because they'll get the people that just don't know what they're doing too. They just saw that on a promotion list, or they saw something and they try to get in. Cherry Hill 8 says, I would agree with all you guys who pays off an $80 million debt if you're going to go bankrupt anyway, right? Isn't that the way bankruptcy is for debts? So very possible this company is already sold and stipulation for the new owner. Buyer insisted because nothing else makes sense to take 80 million and throw it away. So there you have it with Cherry Hill 8 has that take. So that's something interesting to add to the whole pot there, because you want to make sure that you got all the takes in there and before you go and look at anything, before you make any decisions. That's why we bring up what the real traders are saying. These guys are moving stuff all the time. And some of you can say, whatever, these guys don't know what's going on and things like that. As far as on the boards, they're just a bunch of goofballs. Well, a lot of them have gotten it right. So both sides, bullish and bear. So you have to cover all sides of the aisle before making an informed decision. So go through a lot of the boards. It says, who decided to add 400% plus gain earlier this morning? IOL, bearish. The next stock we have is Fisker Incorporated, FSR. Last tick was $7.42. Today we saw a $1.72 jump. We're starting to see resistance popping up today, and we're going to find out why. Year-to-date action, you've jumped about 52 cents for the whole year. So today, there's a little interesting movement. We're going to go to the Alphabet News and find out why we're seeing this trend. Okay, so going on to CNBC or DNC, Fisker confirms Ocean EV deliveries will begin in spring. It's on track to build more than 40,000 in 2023. Electric vehicle startup Fisker said Monday it maintains a track to begin deliveries of its Ocean SUV this spring to build more than 40,000 vehicles in 2023. It also spent less than 22 than it expected. Fisker had approximately 65,000 reservations for the Ocean, up slightly from over 62,000 in the prior earnings report. Electric vehicles startup Fisker said Monday that it spent less money in 2022 than it expected and remains on track to begin deliveries of all of its Ocean SUVs this spring to build more than 40,000 vehicles in 2023. Fisker shares closed up to 30% on Monday. Fisker said to date, 56 Oceans have been built for manufacturing partner Magna International, the contract manufacturer facility in Austria. Not Australia with good day, mate. 15 of these were completed a year before end and will be used for testing for both Fisker and Magna. The two companies refine the manufacturing process, test additional features, and work through regulatory approval process in the U.S., Canada, and Europe. The report comes less than the EV startups Lucid and Nikola underwhelmed with their production and delivery results. Fisker said previously that the Ocean would have about 350-mile radius range for top trims. By CEO Henrik Fisker said Monday that the early testing has shown Ocean has more of a range than expected. I'm not a cooler carrier for this, guys, but that is huge news if they can go the 350 miles as it says. That might gravitate more ownership towards some of these and some people trying to get on the newest thing, things like that. So I don't think you've heard the last of this at all. Results reinforce the expectation that by the time of launch, that Fisker Ocean will have the longer range SUV crossover price below $70,000. In the base trim, Ocean said that 250 miles of range is the starting price of 37,499 long-range versions that start at $50,000. Fisker expects to complete testing of the needed regulatory approval of Ocean the next month and ramp up the production, which begins in the second quarter. So that's key to write down right there, guys. You have your second quarter news results. When that comes out there, you could ride that news break depending on if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Just depends on how things go. So we'll have to see how that plays out. So that's something to take note of when you're looking at this company. The company rated its previous production guidance up to 42,000 vehicles in 2023, providing supply chain deliveries per forecast and received regulatory approval in a timely manner. Fisker promised approximately 65,000 reservations for the Ocean as of February 24th, up slightly from 62,000. I'm sure after this on MSDNC, when you saw this, I'm sure the reservations will probably go up just because the key there, and we don't want to bury the lead or anything, is you have the 350-mile radius of that. So people are going to see this news article, and that's going to get out about that. Do I own the stock in the company? No. Am I carrying the cooler for the company? No, I'm just telling you what people are. I'm speculating what people are thinking and possibly going to do there. In early November, they said the third quarter, it's going to be interesting to see of its third quarter earnings report in early November, because it had 62,000 of its vehicles, the Ocean vehicles, built in the third quarter earnings report in early November. But because it was built in Austria, not Australia, with Good Day Mate, the Ocean wouldn't qualify for the new U.S. government EV incentives. But they battled on, and the total of 702 million in 2022. It's a bit of its guidance range of 715 million for 790 million. The company had 736.5 million in cash remained at year to end, including 57 million raised on its ongoing at market share offering the fourth quarter of 2022. It currently expects to spend between 535 and 610 million in 2023. Fisker is targeting a new gross profit margin of 8% and 12% for year to year, and may have positive earnings for interest, tax, and depreciations for amortized EBITDA for the full year as well. So going on to StockTwits, because that's where the real traders are at. We're not going to go to the website just because pretty much a lot of people already know what it does based on the headline of what we read, and some of your other it's not one of those Mr. Thank you very much stocks. So we don't have to go too little there. I guess we go to the website, check out the Ocean, I guess, here in a sec, but it looks, we're going to cover some of these comments. DBW77 says tomorrow huge for three-year longs. We've seen this movie before, but we must hold these gains. All positive momentum going into the market. Hawk J Day says no electric vehicles will go up until 2035. Drop coming bearish. Might not be that far of a reach. I do respect his takes, and he also says that Rivers automotive earnings tomorrow, FSR, depend on it beat or miss. So he is right. That will be huge. 5 Points the Farm says, you ever seen a premium get juiced over one night? Stay tuned if open at 7:30 and the call's down 30%. Yes, because they are correct. Just because you see something in the alphabet news does not mean that you need to jump all over it and things like that. You need to proceed with caution just because you see these things trending or see an alphabet news article that comes out about it. These people, it happens all the time, and people get in trouble because they lose money because they're going with the headline there and not thinking through. So I'm glad that they brought those takes there. Fisker Will says, just Adam Jonas up a creek without a paddle. Sure says, I just realized with the 4 days this week to keep making money. Bears are toast long term. Trade says, way to go, Henrik. It is night shift clocking to keep this trending night all day. And great night. It says that bears are subhuman goblin men, revealing the pain and misery of others who submit pizza pockets and milky glow of their computer screens. Some posted genius of evolutionary with all of Shrek's troll species. You also have, it would be awesome if Fisker announced the revolving credit facility tomorrow, or some news to add to the fuel. So guys, there are some interesting takes about where this thing is at. Let's go just check out the product and see what we got here. I think everybody on both sides is right on point as far as what they're talking about. You also saw Angel of Death. He had an awesome take here before we take off from this. He says, attention FUD packing trolls. By June, this will be producing 5,000 vehicles per month. Do the math, or you don't have to stick to your guns. I'll enjoy spending your money. Your loss is my gain. The road to profitable 2023 is coming clearer and clearer. Hemoglobination's coming soon. So that's not that far off. If they are keep on selling the vehicles, and if he does the math correct, he's not that far off there. So I'm just saying, if that math is correct there. So you guys do the math, add 2 plus 2 and add that up and see what you get. Guys, the beauty, Fisker Ocean. This thing is available in all-wheel drive with dual motor option and action. Just kidding. Range up to 350 miles with hyper battery range. This is going to get a lot of your electric people going with that. I will say that they are not that far off on that. 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.6 seconds with 550 peak HP option. All hydrodynamic driver, all electric dynamic driver centric. Solar Sky. With Ocean's revolutionary full solar sky roof, you can harvest the sun's rays to generate free energy to support the vehicle's battery-powered motor. Guys, that is freaking sick and huge. I'm just saying, not like I said, I don't own stock in the company. I'm not carrying the cooler for it. I'm just saying it's interesting and it's huge that it can do that as well. Fully exposed to the sun, Fisker Ocean Extremely Solar Sky can produce up to 1,500 clean emissions-free miles of the past year under idle conditions that may increase to 2,000 miles. You have your screen that's revolutionary. Experience the digital wonder of innovation for the Revolve rotating center screen. This exclusive optional 17.1-inch touchscreen has the power to swivel from control mode, a portrait view, to Hollywood mode, a landscape 16.9 widescreen format, allowing you to enjoy movies, videos, complete with 360 sound and immersive cinematic experience. You have a California mode, which will go here, is a push-button 8 glass panels that open simultaneously to transform a versatile SUV into a coastline cruising convertible. With exclusive California mode, you can drop the front windows. And no, it doesn't come with a surfboard, guys. So just to give you a heads up, maybe some of the dealers, they sell you one, some of the salespeople might buy a couple boards or something like that for doing a deal. I don't know, just kidding. But both rear seat windows and doggy windows in the back to the D pillar next to the rear liftgate windows, and open the Solar Sky to the same time as you can even load the surfboard through the open rear window. You have Park My Car. You can park your car. Fisker's automatically parking assist system scans the parking area and uses ultrasonic sensors to surround cameras to help you find the perfect size spot. Then Fisker Ocean autonomously parks itself either parallel to the curb or at the angle spot. This option can feature also detects obstacles in your path, pedestrians, poles, and other cars, and automatically applies the brakes. Then you have limo mode. In limo mode, all the electric Fisker option passengers in the second row can relax in the spacious comfort, controlling an environment with the rear cabin with a digital touchscreen. The option features usually reserved to high-end luxury vehicles and allows backseat and adjust temperature, fan, speed, and control media volume. A separate control reclines in the rear seat and electronically for comfort. So guys, this thing is huge in itself. Things that are coming out there, there's the upgraded stereo, things like that. And they're doing the pre-order. How many people, one thing that we didn't talk about on this stock, how many people in this that are looking at this car are going to think maybe I should just get into debt for it because all my friends are going to think I'm cool. I'm just saying because of the cool features it has. Some people do that, so you have to take that into effect in the sales too. How many people are just going to willing to throw it at the house just to have this that really can't afford it but are going to get it anyway? So that's something to throw into the interesting dynamic of its features that it has. So there you have it with that. Some people actually think they're cool because of what they drive, even though that what you drive doesn't make you cool unless you actually are shallow and think that. So, but anyway, I'm going to move on to the next. I'll see you in 2 and 2. Peace. Guys, the next stock we have is Contrafect Corporation. Last tick was $4.74. And no, it's not Contra the video game. It is Contrafect Corporation. Going to the year-to-date chart, let's check that out. Negative 260.86. So why are we seeing trending now? Some of that obviously was the market correction. But we're going to go on to the Alphabet News and find out why we're trending today. It's the Alphabet News, but all I saw was promotion. So unless someone else has something on the boards, which we'll check out. Going to the website looks pretty good. It better look good, especially when it was 200 and something higher before, and it's still $4, which it's not a Mr. Thank you very much stock. Just things are happening and lots of things going on. Going on to what would you say they do here? They disrupt ineffective technologies. They're developed the first in class for biologic therapies for life-threatening drug resistance infectious diseases. They're in clinical stage biotechnology company focused on discovering and developing biotechnology therapies for life-threatening drug-resistant infectious diseases, particularly treating in hospital settings. Estimated 700,000 deaths worldwide, each attributed to antimicrobial resistant infections. They intend to address life-threatening infections using the therapeutic product candidates for platform of direct lytic agents, DLAs, which include lysins and amyrin peptides. They believe that DLAs provide the opportunity for meaningful improvements for clinical outcomes to change the treatment of a paradigm for patients infected with antibiotic-resistant bacteria. Their initial product candidates are new agents to treat lethal resistance infections such as methicillin-resistant staph and staphogram-negative pathogens like multi-drug resistant MSDR there. Going to the pipes, let's check it out, see how far they're out and things. You have your extra base Straphococcal aureus. So sorry, there's a lot of scientific terms. They're in phase 3 of BRDA, BRAD, BARDA approval there. If we could blow that sucker up there. That is a Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority, so phase 3. So that's something to watch there, guys. Now, on these pipelines, it is huge that you pay attention to the phase 1, phase 3, and launch news before approval. They also, for CF296, Streptococcal Astromeningitis and PJI. They're in preclinicals on that, almost to phase 1. And then CF370 for Somas arsenigosa, enabling activities, they are almost into phase 1, and Amurin's broad-spectrum gram pathogens, they're in preclinicals on that. You also have your gram-negative license there. With that, let's go on to StockTwits, because that's where the real traders are at, and check out what the real traders are saying about it. Okay, guys, so going on to StockTwits, because that's where the real traders are at, we have Ouch That Hurts saying, anyone hoping for a miracle here? Not familiar with NASDAQ listing rule. They are not compliant. They can try to pump the stock or do an offering to raise capital, but the market will simply adjust the dilution or worse. It's spinning, going down the drain. It looks like a balance sheet of Q1 2022, $42 million in cash. Q2, 27.3, 17, Q4. Yes, you guess it's likely 0, and really they are 2/3 to 123. So the interesting thing to say that, guys, the reason why we bring this up, just because you see it trending does not mean that you have to jump on this and do things like that, because that's not the way this works. Ouch That Hurts brings up a spectacular point. You just because you see it trending means you need to watch what you're doing, and especially when you've seen the numbers that he's putting up over and over and raises that question. So you have that comment. Bear take right here. He's ST3 Alpha V3 Num says, are you still thinking bullshit hit 685 and now 470? Crazy. All you think it's going up. Momo shifted. So many bag holders and sellers piling. GLTAH trade carefully. That is exactly great advice and great news when seeing this pop up in there. You also have, he also puts in there spike drop pre-market, spike halted and drop, spike failed, head and formed, and this will drop tomorrow after hours. Yeah, this is reminding me of some of the other diarrhea. I'm not saying it's diarrhea stock, guys. You know, you never know what could happen, but I'm saying that just some of the bad things that have happened over the last 2 years, and one of them, I hate to see when people lose Dollarooskies, but yeah, he brings up a great point. Bio G Loves Me says, wow, this stock ran. Check it out. The other junk stock I'm currently bag holding its primary run 2. Holding for a multi-day reversal, seeing potential to run 450. Roadkill says, shorting a company that finds a cure for cancer has a special place in hell for you. He won't have a wait in line. Glioblastoma took my son away. Hope they really find a cure. So that's we have to cover all the takes, and like I said, I'll cover everybody there. So there you have it on this. So any more, this thing's full of people that are pissed, and then some people that, believe in it. So I agree that you'll see the shorts come out, and we'll be saluting our shorts, putting that meme out there as well. So you guys have a great night. Hopefully you liked some of the companies we covered and some of the information we gave and covered over for you, and some of the takes of the real traders. So don't make it a dog show, and good night now.